These 4 things filmmakers don't talk about enough, and it has nothing to do with the gear you use, lighting techniques, software tutorials, etc. These are practical and maybe unconventional tips that you probably aren't thinking about, which is exactly why I think it's so important to share. So here we go, my top 4 tips to become a better filmmaker. Number 1, simply write. And write simply. Technically, these are 2 different things. Let me explain. To be a better filmmaker, you first need to be a better storyteller, because as filmmakers, our goal is to communicate. You need to understand that your ideas are worth hearing, writing, and sharing. Your ideas have value. The problem is, things that aren't written down are usually forgotten. So part 1 is to simply write. Write down your words, your feelings, your ideas, get a journal, or open up Google Docs and just simply sit and reflect for a while. You'll be shocked with the amount of things that you come up with. Find a time of the day that this works for you and try to do it at the same time every day, even if it's just for a few minutes at a time. Most of my ideas come first thing in the morning, before breakfast, before chores, before I have time to even think about anything. For you, it may be a different time of the day, but here's the point. If we don't write, we lose track of the things we want to communicate. And if our goal as filmmakers is to communicate, we aren't really doing our job. So that is why we should simply write. But we should also write simply. Our goal isn't just to communicate, our goal is to communicate clearly. Odds are you're not the next Christopher Nolan. So stop overcomplicating things. You don't need to add layers and layers of details or plots. In fact, these things can actually get in the way of the one clear message you want to have. Think about Pixar shorts. They're experts in conveying emotions that all come back to one simple idea. And they're able to tell these powerful stories with strong emotions in such little time. So as you're developing a story, ask yourself, what is the one thing I'm trying to say? And if anything distracts from that, it might not need to be included. I've found that when you keep things simple, creating just feels more fun. And there's just way less pressure. And if you're someone that struggles to write, or you say, I'm not a good writer, this next tip might help you out a bit. Tip number 2, make your ideas more accessible. Let me tell you what I mean by that. If you find it hard to act on your ideas and you say things like, I don't have enough money, or I don't have enough time, I'm not a good enough writer, then this tip is for you. To consistently act on your ideas, you need to find ways to make creating more accessible. Let me give you an example. This seems like a silly question, but what happens when something is right in front of you? I'll answer for you. You see it and you think about it. And that is exactly the goal here. So if you struggle with writing, try keeping a notebook and pen next to your bed. If you want to film more, leave your camera fully built on your desk instead of in a Pelican or a bag. Leave your lights out so they're not tucked away in a closet. We literally built a studio in our apartment for this exact reason, because you can't walk by it and not think about it. It's so accessible that I don't have an excuse to not use it. And it works. We use it all the time because it's right there. There's plenty of other ways to do this, but the goal is to leave your tools out in front of you before you lose inspiration. Because the longer you think it takes for you to act on something, the less likely you are to pursue it. But when it's right in front of you, you see it and you think about it. And thoughts lead to inspiration, and inspiration leads to
action.
Thank you. And that leads me to our next point. Tip number 3, act while you can. If you feel inspired, flow with it. Run with it, sprint with it, whatever. But drop what you're doing and act on it immediately. Now, obviously this isn't always possible, like if you're in school or on a job, whatever. But apparently this is common knowledge. Listen to what ChatGPT says. Inspiration is fleeting. To maximize the potential of an idea, start taking concrete steps towards its realization as soon as possible. Why? Because if you don't, you're gonna miss it. But I found that even when I drop my paid work to do something I'm inspired by, I almost always come back to my work re-inspired or with a whole new outlook to get it done. It actually promotes efficiency. But hear me out. When I say act now, you have to understand the goal isn't to execute your idea at the highest level and make the best thing possible. Most people don't have access to a full crew or an entire gear inventory. The goal here is just to build confidence in your skills and trust your creative decision-making more and more. And just like working out, acting on your ideas becomes a lot easier with the more reps you get in. Now, if you're asking, Josiah, how long should we run with the idea? As long as you possibly can. As a creative, there's nothing worse, maybe one thing worse, but I'll get to that in a sec. There's nothing worse than an idea that's never acted upon. Because we aren't just dreamers, we're filmmakers. Action isn't an option, it has to be a part of us. Anyways, moving on to our last tip. Tip number 4. Let your work be what it is. Not everything you make is going to be the best thing you've ever made, so don't dwell on things for too long. The goal is not perfection, the goal is progress. And if you really want my opinion, once you wrap filming something, finish your edit as fast as possible, post it, and let it be. Because to me, the only thing worse than not acting on your ideas is not sharing the things you do make with the world. I have so many friends, myself included, who have filmed something at some point in their careers, like a wedding or whatever it might be, and they've been sitting on it for years. And by that point, it almost becomes irrelevant to do anything with, and it's so sad. It's a missed opportunity to share your craft with the world, to inspire somebody, or to make someone feel seen or heard. Filmmaking is a privilege, and we have to steward it well. Your voice matters, your style is unique, and your work speaks for itself, so let it be what it is. So, to recap, here are my 4 unconventional ways to become a better filmmaker. Number 1, simply write and write simply. Number 2, make your ideas more accessible. Number 3, act on your ideas immediately. And number 4, let your work be what it is. Or in simpler terms, write, simplify, act, and let it be. Screenshot this and make it your wallpaper if you want. That is a terrible design. Why would you make that? I don't normally make videos like this, but if it brought some sort of value to you, please let me know in the comments because there could be more of this in the future. My name is Josiah. Some people call me Brosiah. And full-time, I'm a business owner and director of photography. But at the core, I'm a filmmaker. I want to become a better communicator and I want to tell better stories. And this is the platform that I get to do that on. So if you resonate with that, I would love to have your support on our channel. But for now, I hope you can apply these 4 tips practically to your film career, and I hope you stay creative. That's all. Oh my, it's you. This is Sarah. She's pregnant. Ezio, get over here. This is our little family. And we got one more on the way. Ezio's brother. Coda. We post a lot of different stuff on our channel, so if you're interested, you should check out our channel and subscribe. Okay, bye. What do you guys think of this lighting setup? We got the key light right here. Fill light is here, going over there, and the spotlight on the wall. I don't know, it's simple. Okay, bye.